Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Comfort Zone.
Hi, everyone. We're really happy you're here with us today.
If you're new here, feel free to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us share more English conversations with you.
I'm Anna.
And I'm Leo.
So, Leo, what are we talking about today?
Well, I wanted to talk about a feeling. You know, that moment when you're in a conversation and everything's going fine, and then suddenly your mind just goes blank.
Oh, I know that feeling so well.
You completely forget a word, just a simple everyday word. Has that ever happened to you where you're just standing there and it's gone?
Oh, absolutely. It's like the worst feeling. You can feel your face getting hot and the silence just gets louder and louder. It's just pure panic.
It really is. So I thought today we could get into that, you know, what to actually say when you don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Because it happens to everyone.
That's so true. And I think the interesting thing is we often see it as a failure of, like, our vocabulary.
Right. My English is bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what everyone says. Oh, sorry, my English is bad. But really, it's not about the missing word. It's more a failure of reaction.
A failure of reaction. What do you mean by that?
Well, when you forget a word, your brain kind of panics. It gets stuck. And instead of just, finding another way to say something, we freeze.
We just stop talking completely.
Or we start apologizing, which, just makes the whole thing more awkward. It breaks the connection.
Right. And the other person probably doesn't even care that you forgot one specific word.
Exactly. Fluency isn't really about knowing every single word in the dictionary. It's more about just keeping the conversation moving.
Okay, so let's talk about how to do that. What are some of the tools? I've heard one of the best ways is to just describe it.
Yeah.
Instead of stopping, you just describe the thing.
It's basically like that game, Taboo, where you have to get your team to guess a word without actually saying the word itself.
Oh, I love that game.
It's the exact same skill. If you can't find the word, you just describe what it does.
Okay, so let's take an example. Say I'm looking for an umbrella, but the word just vanishes from my brain.
Right. So instead of freezing, you just say, excuse me, I'm looking for that thing.
Yeah.
The object you use when it's raining to stay dry.
The rain blocker.
The rain blocker, perfect.
Yeah.
And the person understands you. The communication happens. That's a win.
That makes sense for objects, but what about something more abstract, like a feeling?
That's a good point. A little harder. If you forget the word frustrated, you can't really point to it.
Right.
But you could use a simpler phrase, something like, I'm really not happy with this, or even just, this is upsetting me.
So it doesn't have to be the perfect word. It just has to get the idea across.
Exactly. Our brains get this kind of tunnel vision on the one word that's missing, and we forget that there are 10 other simple ways to say almost the same thing.
We get paralyzed by trying to be perfect.
We really do.
It reminds me of the story I heard about someone learning English, and they were worried about a lion.
Oh, the lion story. I think I know this one.
Yeah, so they were trying to remember if it was lions live in a grassy area or lions live on grasslands, and they were just spiraling.
Right, obsessed with the grammar rule. Which one is correct?
But a native speaker doesn't really think about the rule, do they? They just think about the situation. A lion on the grass in a big open space.
You could just say, lions live in a big grassy place, and literally everyone would understand you perfectly.
So the goal isn't to sound like a textbook.
Not at all. It's just to get the idea from your head into their head.
Okay, so that handles a missing word. But that brings up the next problem. What happens when you actually stop talking? That awkward silence.
Ugh, the worst.
I read somewhere that for a lot of English speakers, a silence of just 4 seconds can feel incredibly uncomfortable.
4 seconds. It feels like forever, doesn't it? And that's a cultural thing, In some places, a longer pause is a sign of respect.
But here, we feel this pressure to just fill it with noise. We just start talking about anything.
We do. But I think the trick is to sort of reframe it. Don't see silence as a failure. See it as a tool.
A tool.
Yeah, like a pause for thought. It sounds more intentional.
A pause for thought. I like that.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
If someone asks you a question and you answer instantly, it can seem like you didn't even think about it. But if you just wait a couple of seconds.
1, 2, 3.
Exactly. And then you answer. You look thoughtful. You look more confident, I think.
It's a difference between looking lost and looking like you're considering the question.
Right. But okay, let's be honest. Sometimes the silence isn't because you're thinking deep thoughts.
No. Sometimes it's because you have absolutely nothing to say.
Right, like when you're at a networking event
Uh-huh.
or stuck in an elevator with a coworker. The small talk nightmare.
This is where a little bit of preparation can help, especially if you're a bit more introverted.
For sure. Have you heard of the FORD method? FORD?
I think so. It's an acronym, right?
Yeah, it just helps you remember some safe topics. So, F is for family. O is for occupation, so work. R is for recreation hobbies, what you do for fun. And D is for dreams.
Dream seems a little intense for the elevator, maybe.
Oh.
So what are your deepest life goals before we get to the fourth floor?
Huh. Yeah, maybe save dreams for a longer conversation.
Yeah.
But you can make it smaller. Like, do you have any big travel plans coming up? That's a version of dreams.
That's true. Travel is always a good one. And recreation. I mean, asking someone what they're watching on Netflix is kind of the universal way to escape an awkward silence, isn't it?
It totally is.
Yeah.
But another thing you can do, which I really like, is to just be honest about the situation.
You mean just call out the awkwardness?
Kind of. You can say something like, I'm trying to get better at meeting new people. Do you mind if I introduce myself?
Well, that's really disarming.
It is, because odds are the other person's feeling a little nervous too.
100%. It makes you seem more human.
Okay, so let's raise the stakes a bit. What about a really high-pressure situation like a job interview or a big meeting with your boss?
And they ask you a question and you just genuinely do not know the answer.
Yeah. The natural instinct is just to say, I don't know.
Which is a total conversation killer. It's a dead end.
Exactly. It just shuts everything down. You want to build a bridge, not a wall.
So what's the first move? Instead of, I don't know?
The first move is to buy yourself some time. And you can do that just by complimenting the question.
So something like, that's a really great question.
Yeah. Or, I'm glad you asked that. It gives you a few seconds to breathe and think. It shows you're not panicking.
And then?
Then, if you're not totally sure what they mean, you can ask them to clarify. Could you say that in a different way? Or could you give me a little more context?
And sometimes that little bit of extra information is all you need to find the answer.
For sure. But if you really don't know, then you switch into talking about your process.
What do you mean by process?
You can say, I'm not familiar with that specific number, but here is how I would find it. Or, I can definitely get that information for you by the end of the day.
Oh, that's smart. Because they don't always need you to know everything. They want to see how you think and how you solve problems.
Exactly. Showing them your plan to find the answer is actually a much better response than just guessing.
Okay, so we've started a conversation. We've navigated the silences. We've handled tough questions. What about the end? I feel like that's secretly the hardest part for a lot of people.
The exit strategy.
Yes, the exit. How to end a conversation without just, being rude and walking away.
There's a little trick for this. Some people call it the white flag strategy. Like in a race when they wave the white flag for the last lap.
So you signal that the end is coming.
Precisely. You don't just say bye out of nowhere. You say something like, well, I have to get going in just a minute, but before I do, tell me one more thing about whatever you were talking about.
No, that's really smooth.
It works because it tells the other person to wrap it up, but it also shows you're still interested in what they have to say. It's polite.
And after they answer that one last question, you have a perfect reason to leave. That was great. So good to catch up.
And you can use your body language too. Start to angle your feet toward the door or open your posture toward where you want to go.
The feet point the way.
It's a subtle cue. And of course, simple reasons are always the best. I'm going to grab another drink, or it was really nice chatting with you.
So when you look at all of this, it feels like there's a common idea running through it all.
I think so. It's that we put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect speakers. Every sentence has to be amazing. Every word has to be right.
But real conversation isn't like that.
Not at all. Real conversation is. It's about connection. It's messy. It has pauses. It sometimes involves calling an umbrella a rain blocker.
And if you focus more on connecting with the person instead of, performing for them, the words come a little easier.
I think they do. It takes the focus off of how do I sound and puts it on, are you understanding me? And that simple shift can make all the difference.
It's really about getting out of your own head.
Totally. And if you're really stuck, you can always just ask a question. Let them talk. Tell me more about that. It's probably the most useful phrase in English.
It works every time.
So I guess the big idea is just to be calm. It's okay to pause. It's okay to describe things simply.
It's okay to be human.
Exactly. That's where the best conversations happen anyway, in those slightly messy, imperfect moments.
I love that, the imperfect moments.
Thanks for hanging out with us today.
We hope you have some good conversations this week. See you next time.